There we go. Can you hear me? Am I good? Is everything good? Yeah. Okay, hopefully everything is working now. Sorry, guys. Happy Friday. My name is meteorologist Heather Kay, and it's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractors Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So let's get right into our weather headlines. There is going to be the potential for a severe weather outbreak today, so we'll cover exactly what areas we'll be watching in just a few minutes. And then as we get into tomorrow, that risk shifts off to the southeast, and so Atlanta, you may possibly get some hail early tomorrow morning, so we'll take a look at that as well. And then getting into our Sunday, we could see some more storms along the Gulf Coast, and then we'll also take a brief look into next week as well, as there could be something to watch. So let's take a look at our current conditions across the country. Pretty quiet here in the northern part of the U.S. There's a high pressure in control up in Minnesota. Iowa, you're clear right now, as well as most of the Dakotas. But you can see there's plenty of rain here in the southern part of the country. We're going to zoom right on in. Little Rock, you just got some storms a little bit ago. That line came on through and started to weaken, so we're just experiencing some light to moderate rain here in Little Rock. But then as we go further west, you can see some more storms are starting to fire up here in southeastern Oklahoma. Just to the east of Dallas, unfortunately, you guys are not going to get anything today in terms of the severe weather, as it should stay to your east. And then some storms are just to the west here in Memphis. So this entire area we will be watching this afternoon and evening and into the overnight hours for that severe weather. Then moving off into the Ohio Valley and into parts of the east, we got some heavier rain here falling along that front. So zooming back on out, taking a look at our temperatures, you can see where that front is situated. We got colder temperatures anywhere from the mid-30s, only 35 in Minneapolis, to lower 40s just behind this system. It's 40 in Fort Wayne, 42 in Kansas City. You go south, though, and those temperatures start to warm up. It's 74 in Atlanta and 75 in Houston. So we got plenty of warmth as well as instability and our moisture. So taking a look at our dew points, it is we have a 71-degree dew point down in New Orleans, 57 in Dallas, and you can see they start to drop off significantly once we get behind this system. So we're going to take a look at the jet stream before we get into our future radars. This is the trough that we are going to be watching as we get into the next few days. You can see it is digging down into the southern part of the U.S. So right ahead of that trough is where we will have all those ingredients coming together for that severe weather. As we get into this evening, you can see it's starting to take a little bit of a negative tilt here, and that is what's really going to be sparking that potential for severe weather this evening. And then getting into tomorrow, it slowly tracks off to the east, so we could see some more severe weather here in the southeast. And then it starts to lift back up to the north for our Sunday, and that warmth is starting to build back up here in the Gulf Coast states. So we could see some more severe weather as we get into our Sunday. And then as we get into our Monday, that trough starts to lift a bit up to the north, but you can see another low pressure off of the coast of California, Oregon, and Washington. That will be our next weather maker as we get into next week. So it looks like for the most part, it should be relatively quiet for the first half of our week next week. But then as we get into Thursday, we have to once again watch out for severe weather here in the Central Plains. So until then, we're just going to focus on the next few days here, including today. So here is our significant hail model. large hail is possible from basically Little Rock points south, especially as we get into the southern parts of Arkansas and into Louisiana, and maybe as far east as parts of Mississippi. As we get into this afternoon and evening, you can see those brighter colors are still present, indicating the potential for large hail, and then they really start to drop off as we get into the overnight hours. I think, once we get into later on this evening, it's going to become more of a wind and tornado threat. As we'll see in just a moment. This is our significant tornado parameter, so this is not to scare anyone, just to prepare if you're in these regions, but this particular model is indicating some brighter colors, indicating that there could be a potential tornado outbreak as we get into this afternoon. So this is at 3 p.m. Central Time. As we get to 7 p.m. Central Time, you can see those pinks and purples here. So this particular model is showing that we could have a pretty hefty event unfold. So again, this is not to scare, this is just to prepare you guys if you're in these regions from Arkansas to northern Louisiana, getting into Mississippi. Just have your severe weather plans in place. And those the parameter continues to stay relatively high as we get into this evening at 9 p.m. And then they start to drop off a bit as we get into the overnight hours. This is at 1 a.m. However, we still have some higher values here as we get into Alabama. So again, just have your plans ready to go if this does unfold into a outbreak or a storm heads towards your area. And then it should start to quiet off as we get to tomorrow morning. So in terms of severe hail size, I'm thinking up to 2-inch in diameter hail is possible with those storms that do develop ahead of the line that is expected to form. So yeah, 2-inch hail, that's not too shabby. Also start doing your hail dances, you guys. So here is our future radar. Just like yesterday, I have this one that will show the southern parts of the risk, and then I'll jump north in just a moment. So this is at 1 p.m., so within the next half hour to 45 minutes, we have those storms ongoing right now, and some more storms firing here in southeastern Oklahoma, getting into eastern Texas. As we get into this afternoon, this is at 5 p.m. Central Time, we are expecting some more robust activity to start firing up with the heating of the day and the instability in the moisture in that trough, with the lift all coming together. So Little Rock, it looks like you may get another round of storms. And then stopping at 6 p.m., again, we have some lines, we have some individual cells here. So all modes are possible in terms of hail, wind, and tornadoes. And then stopping it again at 8 p.m., even more robust activity is expected. So it's just going to keep on going as we get into this evening, into the overnight. A nasty squall line may form as we get, between 8, 9, 10 p.m. just to the west of Nashville, all the way down to just to north of Jackson, Mississippi. And then it's just going to keep on tracking along here as we get into the overnight hours. This is at 2 a.m. just to the west of Birmingham, so we could see severe weather in your guys' neck of the woods as well. And then stopping at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, Atlanta, you could get some gusty winds with this squall line as it comes on through. And then it looks like it's going to finally weaken a bit more as we get to daybreak tomorrow morning. Now jumping up to the north, there's a lot of rain going on right now, and this will continue as we get into this afternoon. This is at 3 p.m. Central, so 4 p.m. Eastern. And then as we get to 7 p.m. Central, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern, some more rain is going to continue to fall, and then you can see those brighter colors just to the south of St. Louis. We could get some wind gusts out of this, as well as maybe some small hail as we get into the evening, and then stopping at midnight Central, 1 a.m. Eastern time, but this line will be just to the west of Cincinnati, so we could get some gusty winds through your area as well. And then getting into the overnight hours, that line will continue to push off to the east. So let's break it on down on what we're expecting for today. For our hail first, let's zoom on in. A pretty large area, we could see some large hail today. Quarters from basically eastern Oklahoma, Texas, all the way up to just south of Cincinnati. And then the largest hail will be possible from Little Rock down into central Louisiana. So Shreveport, you can get some large hail as well. Little Rock, I have you at a moderate. We'll see what the atmosphere does in terms of recovery, as you guys just got some storms a little bit ago. But large hail, again, is possible from Arkansas down to Louisiana eastward into western Mississippi. And again, 2-inch hail is the largest that I am thinking for today. And then for our wind forecast, we could see a nasty squall line develop this afternoon and evening. So I did put in that next color up here. Anywhere from 80 to 90 mile per hour gusts are possible with those strongest storms. So Little Rock, Memphis down to Jackson, you guys have the best chance to see that those strong wind gusts. And then elsewhere we have a moderate chance to see severe wind gusts in Jacksonville, that is down there. Nashville down to Shreveport, and maybe as far north as Cincinnati. So a pretty widespread wind event is possible this afternoon and evening getting into the overnight hours. But that is not it. We also have a tornado threat this afternoon and evening getting into the overnight hours. We do have a high chance to see some tornadoes here in Jackson, Mississippi, as well as into central Mississippi, southeastern Arkansas, down into eastern parts of Louisiana. And we have a moderate chance from Little Rock to Shreveport, up into Memphis and Nashville, and a low-end chance here in Birmingham. So again, this is not to scare people. This is just to keep you guys up to date and informed if anything does happen in terms of warnings and a storm that moves your way. Just make sure you have your plans in place in case any of that happens. Now, getting into tomorrow, we're going to wake up Atlanta. You should be pretty much in the clear in terms of storms tomorrow morning. But as we get into the afternoon hours, we could see some more storms fire up for you guys as we get into the mid-afternoon, as well as some more storms here along the coast of South and North Carolina, stretching down into southeastern Georgia. And then those storms will continue to push off to the east as we get into the evening and start to die out. But we also could see another round trying to develop in the overnight hours along and ahead of that front. So just keep that in mind. And here is tomorrow's hail forecast. I'm not expecting anything too crazy for the sizes of hail, but we could see some $0.25 size hail occur from Atlanta down to Tallahassee, eastward to Savannah. And then in terms of severe wind, we could see 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts with those strongest storms. Again, same basic area here from Atlanta down to Tallahassee, eastward to Savannah, Georgia. And a tornado or two is not out of the question either. So moving off into Sunday, the Gulf Coast states, you guys could once again see another round of storms. This is Sunday at 9 a.m. I can see those brighter colors here, just right along the Gulf Coast here from the Panhandle of Florida into parts of Louisiana. We could see some more storms fire up here for our Sunday afternoon and evening, and then that will push off to the east as we get into our Monday morning. So here is our risk for Sunday. Again, right along those Gulf Coast states, just the south of Atlanta, westward into parts of Alabama. So Birmingham, again, you could see another chance of severe weather, as well as into Jackson, Mississippi, and then stretching off to the west for central Louisiana. So it could be a potentially a busy day today, and then getting into our weekend. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Again, it's that time of the year. We're getting into the busy season, so you don't want to miss anything. And if we do have a storm hitting a major area, as always, we will go live on Facebook, YouTube, and or TikTok. So just, make sure you stay tuned. And if you haven't already, if you want to do a demo, scan this with your phone and you can schedule a demo with us here. We just released our 4.0 app, so if you're having issues, make sure you do that. Or if you're new, you can scan that and we will get set up with a demo for you guys. And then if you have any questions, concerns, if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend.